Welcome to Life Made Simple, everyone. Today we've got a 2010 Mazda 3. It's throwing a couple of codes, P2004 and P2009, which indicate a faulty intake manifold runner control system, which is that right there. I'm going to show you how to test the old one, confirm that it's faulty, test the new one to make sure it's working properly, replace it, and get your vehicle running properly with better performance, better fuel economy. Let's get started. So I'm using my launch OBD2 scanner here, and unfortunately the screen for some reason didn't show well on camera, so I'm just showing you a few generic clips. Basically, it threw a P2004 and a P2009 code, and the driving symptoms for a faulty intake manifold runner are poor fuel economy and sluggish performance. Let's get started here with removing the old intake runner. Remove the wiring clips, there's two of them. From there, you want to remove this clip just to give you a bit of extra room, unclip it, pull that hose, move it over slightly. Next, you're going to remove the vacuum lines. There are 4 of them. And you'll notice I used a screwdriver as well as a pick to help kind of loosen it. It's been sitting there a long time, so there's a bit of corrosion. And it took a little bit of time, but again, working it with the picks and the screwdriver, and then pulling up, and it eventually comes free. Once you've removed the hoses, it's now time to remove the screws. There will be 4 of them, 1 on each corner. They are a Torx, I believe T15 bit, and you'll need to use an extended bit because they're fairly recessed down. You'll also notice that I use a magnet here to pull out the screws. Because they're so far down, it's kind of hard to reach your fingers into there. This helps to get them out, and as you can see, they're pretty tiny. Once you get the screws removed, you can pull the intake runner out. Testing it is easy. You're basically just giving it 12 volts and listening for a clicking sound internally. So here you can hear the tap, the click, click. That means the solenoid is moving. And you'll notice the top one here, the only tapping is coming from my lead. The internal is not making any sort of clicking. Here's the new one. Same thing, you can hear that distinct clicking internally. I put the negative onto this prong, touch it with the other lead, and when you give it 12 volts, you can tell the internal is clicking. That means the solenoid is functioning. So at this point, you just install the new part. Now that we've verified the old part is faulty, we've verified the new part is working. Once you've got it in there, it's easy to start the bottom right screw or bolt first. It's easy to reach, you just get it started. Installing the other 3 was a bit tricky. I tried using this magnet, but I just couldn't get it to torque and start the screw properly. So here's the pro tip for you. Use a piece of tape, connect the bit to the screw, just enough so that you can get it started, and then once it's started, just pull the bit off with a tape. Reuse the same process for the other ones. Once all the screws are started, we're going to tighten them all down. Here we're just tightening them down by hand. No need to over tighten, it's not going to fly anywhere, but just nicely tighten them down. Now it's time to reconnect each of those 4 vacuum hoses. Once the hoses are plugged back in and it's plugged into that clip, the last step is to reconnect the wiring. And that's it, we're done. Hit that like button, let me know if this was helpful, leave a comment or a question, and don't forget to subscribe for our latest DIY and tool review videos.